My name is Devinder Singh Nanda, and today is April 23rd, 2013. 1984, I'm born in 1963, so I was 21. I was at that time, young company executive, project manager with a laser group of companies in India. So I was traveling from different cities. That was my basically setting up a project in each city and then move on to the next one. I was traveling to Calcutta from Chandigarh. So what I did was, I think it was an overnight bus I took from Chandigarh to Delhi. And Delhi, I had a flight morning 9 o'clock, and it was to reach Calcutta about 12 o'clock. All good, like it was a normal journey from a bus to the airport, and airport I was waiting. So I think to my knowledge, if I recollect what exactly happened, it happened while I was in air. This thing happened. So how I realized was, like, I was to land at Calcutta and go down to my hotel, which was about half an hour run from the airport to the hotel. So I reached, as like any other person would do that, to the airport, and things were normal to my knowledge. I couldn't even think in dreams that something could go wrong, or there was no commotion as such at the airport. Now, when I basically called for a taxi to go to a particular hotel where my stay was, and in the same hotel my project was going on. So I called for a taxi, and a taxi came, and I told him I want to go to so-and-so place. So till the time everything was normal. And I think after about 10 minutes of drive, I'm sitting, and I was wearing a leather jacket because it was a bit cold at that time. And so I was wearing a jacket, and I was by myself in a taxi, and I see a mob coming toward the taxi. And each one of the mob was, they were talking in Bengali to the driver, which I couldn't understand, and they were pointing to me. That made me, suspicious. That's why are they? Is there mistaken identity or something like that? They were looking for. But I couldn't even think of that this could happen. Yeah. So I could see that driver is trying to, talk it over, and he came out of the car, and each mob, I was surrounded with the mob, and they were all pointing to me. So I was definitely thinking it's something related to me, but I was thinking it's more or less of mistaken identity, because all Sikhs look alike, and I didn't know what's going on. So now this guy comes into the taxi, he fled the taxi. Now he had two choices, one was to make me come out, and why would he risk his life and his taxi? So it was so much of commotion, I couldn't even understand that. The brain doesn't work on that. Yep. So he comes over inside the taxi. He says he literally fled the taxi, and I saw people chasing. So he says, he literally shouted at me, saying that just bend down and lie down the space between the leg space between the two seats. And I said, why do you want me to do that? I have nothing. He says, I'll tell you later, but just do what I'm saying. He literally shouted, and while he was driving, he made me lie down, and I initially saw the mob chasing the taxi, but this guy fled and kept going round and round. I don't know what, because I couldn't see anything. So I'm talking to him. He says, this is what has happened. Now he's explaining me that this happened, and I believe one of the Sikhs has done that assassination. So now the mob is thinking all Sikhs are, basically all against anybody Sikh they see it. So now what you do, I've taken a responsibility of you that, wherever you want to go, I will not go home unless I make sure that you reach your destination safe and sound. I pledge it. Now, at that time, it was very difficult to believe somebody, because I just met him 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. How do I know this guy is truthful? This is how I call, how limited, our thoughts are. At times you got to be more positive, but that time the thoughts of mine, I'm sitting in Gurdwara, I want to be real to you, but that time, my thoughts were very negative. How could I think that this guy is going to take me to my destination? He could take me to wherever you want. And I wanted to breathe over because I couldn't breathe in that lying down position. And he took off my jacket and put my jacket on top of me so that I'm not visible from outside and something. After maybe couple hours of chase, or whatever he was doing, he was going round. This is also blocked. He would tell me this is blocked now. Mob is coming. Let's go that side. So I could understand, but I couldn't believe that what is going on unless. And now after a couple hours, he says I'm running out of gas. I have no other choice, but I have to take gas, and we are still nowhere near to hotel. We are a long way. I thought I could walk by. He says don't even talk about walking. And now this guy goes to a gas station and fills up a gas. So now the person who's putting the gas, he sees me lying down, or rather I could understand. So he's talking, in Bengali. And now this guy tells, I don't know whom he's talking to, there's a dead body lying inside. This guy is taking a dead body, So to my knowledge, I don't know, he paid the gas for the gas or not, he fled again. He says, we are in trouble because this guy is, I can't reveal your identity, that who you are. And if I do that, I'll be in trouble again. But anyway, we got gas, so we are, I don't know, I said, now he won the trust of mine that, like this guy is doing something for me. So I think it's about a couple hours of chase, whatever, fled, or he mazed me, he said, we are at your place, and now I'm, like imagine persons lying down in that awkward position for 2 hours. Like I come out to try to stretch myself. He said, what are you doing? You run inside, just go, can't, afford to stand outside. So I run inside, to the hotel. He says, don't worry about your luggage. That's my job. But you just don't stay outside. It was a 5-star hotel, Litton Hotel in Calcutta, one of the known places. I'd go there, and we had our office in that hotel. They don't know who I am, so just by seeing I'm a Sikh, we can entertain you. Imagine a 5-star hotel telling me that we can entertain you. I said, you know what? I'm so and so. I'm from. Now the attitude was changed. Says, you can't stay here in the lobby. They just pushed me in a room and did my registration. My other colleague was called, and they thought that I didn't even board the plane for Delhi because my colleague had gone to the airport to receive me. Because of commotion, we couldn't see each other. And that time there was no cell phone and stuff like that. We couldn't be in touch with them. So my office was intimated in Bombay that he missed his flight or whatever because of this thing happened. I think he's not come to Calcutta. So anyway, like I was called and we had a meeting that I'm here. The hotel said, because of you staying in our hotel could be in danger because of you. And now, but you are not a regular customer or whatever it is, you're part of this thing. We'll let you be there, but at one cost, that your room would be locked. You won't be allowed to come to a restaurant or something, whatever it is. We'll serve you or something like that, but on that condition, if and you will not open any window or put off the curtains and stuff like that. And it was, I call it as more as a luxury prison I was in for 10 days. Couldn't do any telephone calls, nobody was allowed to clean up my room because of they will spread out that who's staying there. But my colleague was telling that there's another Sikh gentleman staying in our same floor, and what I see him today, that he was wearing a turban as of yesterday. I could see him around and all when I was passing by. Today I see him, he's cut off his hair. So, and he's an elderly gentleman with white hair. So I asked him, my colleague asked him, what made you do that? He says, I've been here for a week now, and I own a factory in Dhanbad. Today is a payday or something like that. If I don't reach my place, they'll burn away my place. So I got to reach, and for reaching, if I go like this, I can't. Now listening to that story made me more down. I would say I was in high spirits and all, like I'm safe and all those things. My couple of colleagues would take care of me, and this is happening today. This is happening. It's calm down situation today. After 3-4 days, I was in contact with my parents and all. That they were worried that did I reach safely and all. So after 3 days, we could be in touch. That they knew that I'm in hotel and we would talk every day. But that incident, what I what I heard or it happened in front of me, that hope it doesn't happen to me if that were, and I had nobody to talk to or to discuss to that what should be doing or that things, if anything, that's what happens. What should be a step? That communication was not there. I had a South Indian couple, or rather my colleague with me, and I had a Gujarati other colleague with me. Those things would not, they would not understand our sentiments, basically what we're coming from. So anyway, that 10 days, I would say, I call, when my history or whatever I lived in it was, I was getting everything, what was the best time, but it was literally luxury prison, when I didn't see a sunlight for 10 days. Food, everything was okay, but everybody coming to my room, I would think that this guy would be, maybe he's trying to come and catch me out of the hotel or something, and everybody, for example, the messages coming that don't try to meet anybody, don't try to have your house cleaning people to come inside your room and all those things. Everything was, that basically made me more, like anything happen anytime. And it's like the stories, TVs we were listening to, that so-and-so bazaar was happening, so-and-so things were happening and all. So that phase, I would say, grace of Waheguru, everything went okay. But I can't forget that taxi person, basically, I have no words, basically. I rather, to my despise, that I don't even have it. I was in a different world, that I don't have any of his number, name, taxi number, that, basically he was an angel for me, that I don't know where, Waheguru sent him to me. And if you think, he had no business to, basically, he risked his life for me, imagine. And he was not a Sikh, he was a typical Bengali, young guy, who just, I don't know what made him think that, I'm going to save this life. And he took a challenge that, what, I'm not going to reach my home unless I make you reach. That was what he told me. And I don't even remember that I could tip him or something, or could give him extra money, or anything. He refused it or something like that. That's like, I owe him my whole life to that person. Like, if imagine, like, when he was chased, I would say maybe 10 times, and he fled away. It was basically called as mob. And what I saw in my first hand when they chased my taxi, basically, it was maybe 100 odd people. Like there was no batches or something like that. And in Calcutta, they were Bengali mob, I would say. In Delhi, they were Hindu mob. So basically, it was a mob, and it was basically how it was like a widespread fire. Basically, that's what happened. We heard it in different places. In Bombay, it was happened to my other colleague. His shop was raided and blown away. Delhi, basically, my in-laws were in Delhi. I was not married that time, but when I got married and realized that their house was burned, their car was burned, and their neighbors, I would say, helped them over. They being Hindu, basically they were sheltered and stuff like that. So yeah, there's so many stories, basically. Yeah, basically it's just like I would say mainly in a family or friend circle, like Oh yeah, like while I'm talking, you are, I'm in that world, in a sense. That moment, I would say, cannot forget those hours of basically. It's very easy to say that this happened in 2 hours, 3 hours, and then followed by 10 days of staying in confined hotel. But those, you had all the luxury available to you, but you could enjoy nothing. You don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep in the air-conditioned room. It is so-called luxury, but you don't want that luxury. You want to be safe and sound. That was happening. So it was more like a nightmare, I would say, what I went through. Not exactly, no. I was mainly in Gujarat, that time.
And when
like it was unfortunate thing, like it was like you were agitated and things, like, especially you were young that time, 20 years of a person, and this happening. And I had visited Akal Takht a month ago, we saw it in a sense. I had gone for an interview to Amritsar, my first interview of my life. I had gone there, and I had an interview at the darshan of Akal Takht, Harmandir Sahib, and everything. And then you realize this is what happened to my house, I would say. And it was very agitating, and basically, like in a sense, don't remember much, the incidences of that, basically. But of course, it was very, very disheartening. Yeah? It was basically, it's all political, I would say, motivated, it is nothing that you call today Hindus and the particular community as something. I don't agree to that. It was basically, people who were initiated or instigated, I would say, to do such a crime, and back home, those things are very easy. Basically, you can hire any people or to do anything they want. So that was basically a particular group, more or less, mainly politically motivated, that resulted to, these things. Basically, is you take into more, life into more positive, and you become, when you are in two different paths of Sikhism, I would say thereafter, I like what you guys are doing today. I would say maybe I was less fortunate to be in that stream of Sikhism, what you guys are in today. Maybe with the work culture and stuff like that, within a different state of mind. But we were moving around in different class of people, but thereafter, I would say, Sikhism, what you feel so proud about what you are, or people talk about you, that made a change in me. That earlier you were or what I used to feel, be one among those types, Now you stand out and you talk about that what you are. It's not that incident, but that made you change that, we are something, and, and if God is with you to take care of you, maybe no bombs or nothing can, basically hurt you, or, you should be strong, your willpower should be strong. And I think that made me a change in me, or I could influence my family and my, my friends, I would say, to be, instead of being, in all different spheres of life, you more start looking into what you are.